Hi, Internet viewers. Frank Rauscher again. We're back trying to get the Cardinal off the ground. Now, I had some comments on this. I'm going to get this up close to my camera here. I hope I ain't obliterating everything. But I'm going to try to show you everything I did as a close-up, hopefully. And what I'm going to show you today is we're going to do the eyes, we're going to do the beak, and we'll get that done. And then we'll start prepping it for painting and what have you. And I'll explain that as well. So I'm trying to get you to do this in stages, but I'm not going to throw it all out at you. And we're going to get this done in a very few videos here. So I just want to let you know. Now, somebody, and the reason why I'm showing this so close up is one of my subscribers had said that when I'm doing some of the detail work, as far as like burning and what have you, he's got a point. I'm in the process of learning how to explode things so that you can visualize with a zoom, and there is a way of zooming in that I found out, but I didn't know it, and I'm in the process of learning that. But for those who maybe, I'm just going to give you some insight to what I'm learning too. And a lot of you probably know this. On your phone, if you are looking at my videos, you could go in and you can just move your hands on the screen and it'll explode the video as it's going, and you can see a blow up of it. Okay, so that's one way to see the detail if you can't see it readily, I know. And for those who are on TV, that's another story. You don't have that capability. But if you're doing it on a computer as well, or a laptop, or a pad, I should say, you can do that as well. And you can blow it up to see it better. And I know the details are really tight. I use magnification a lot just to help me out, even when I'm doing it normally, you know. So I want to just give you some help. But I'm in the process of learning how to do the zoom so that I can blow things up for you when I get into the detail end of things, and it gets really, you know, you're still a distance away from the camera, and I guess you may not see everything, but I know when I put it on the TV, it looks like it's bigger than all outdoors. So I'll try to work it where I can to give you an exploded view where I can. So just letting you know, I'm working on problems that maybe help some people out, and then I'm giving you other ones where you can get instant zoom yourself, okay, if you have the computer or you have the phone, okay? So just to let you know there. The other thing I always say is if you enjoy these videos, and I hope you are, that you would subscribe to my channel and give me a thumbs up. That really helps in the logarithms of YouTube, and that's what I'm trying to build up as much as I can as far as the subscriptions and so on. And if anybody needs anything, like if you're looking for, I have like a kit that gives you the pattern, the cutout for the cardinal, the eyes, and you also have some yarn that you can hang on the back that hangs onto the tree. So I have that all prepared if anybody wants it. It's very inexpensive too. So if anybody needs any of this, or even any of the lessons that I gave before of any of the blanks, I usually have patterns, I have kits, with the feet, the eyes, the blank, basswood blank, and so on. And everything you need. All you need to do is just do it. And I have them available. So if you need any of that and you're looking for it, I have a catalog. It's only like about 5 or 6 pages long, and it doesn't show everything that I carry, but at least it'll get you off the ground. And if you're looking for something that you don't see in there, I'll try to help you out to where you can get it. I may have it myself. So just want to let you know. And to get the catalog, you just write to me, and it's through my email address. It's Rauscher, Rauscher, Frank, Frank, 7 @gmail.com. And I will gladly email it back to you because I'll have your email at that point, and I can electronically send you that catalog right to you. And if there's anything you need or you want to discuss, you can get in touch with me and I will help you out, even if it's something other than what I've done. And I've got a whole lot of kits, but I don't have always the videos for them. But if you want to try different birds or something like that, or animals, I've done animals, I've done fish, I've done turtles, a variety of stuff. So over the years, so rabbit, raccoon, you name it. So it's not all birds, but I got a slew of birds. So if you're looking for any of that stuff, definitely contact me. You get my catalog, you'll see some of it, and where you don't see it, ask for it, and see if I can't help you out there too. Okay, and if I don't have it, I at least have some sources that I'll try to put you on to get what you're looking for. So hopefully I can guide you in the right direction, okay, to save you some time and see how we go. So from now, I'm going to bring the camera down, and we're going to finish the beak. I'm going to show you how to do that. And we'll also insert the eyes, and I'll show you how to do that. And then we should be ready to almost start painting, basically. So we're there. You know, it's a quick project. So hope you're enjoying it. And here we go. I'm going to move the camera down, and we will get you going on the rest of the Cardinal. Okay, thank you. Okay, we're now going to work on the eye first, okay? And again, things you don't see me wear is the optivisor, and these are magnification. So I have ones with lights. I have just the plain ones like I just showed you. It's just the lens. If you need them, I have certain ones that give you a distance away from the work, and I'd recommend which one works better, if that's helpful to you. I know for me, I'm not a young chicken here, not that I can't see well, but it's always additional magnification really helps, especially when you're doing fine burning and everything else. You want to make sure you're putting the line work where it's needed. And this gets a little tricky too, you know, because like I tell a lot of people, I make it look easy sometimes when I'm burning because I've done it so often. So I just want to let you know that it takes time and you got to have patience with it, and you'll get there. It didn't happen with me right away neither, so don't feel as though you're handicapped here, okay? So with that in mind, I got a ruby ball, which I've used so often it becomes like a burnisher more than anything else. This is about a 4mm ball, and I'm going to get that in my micro grinder here. And what I'm going to do is I don't want to drill too far because we don't have much material here to start. You know, we're This is pretty thin. This is, I think, like 3/16 if I remember correctly. So it's not like I want to drill through the other side. I don't. So what I'm going to do is turn on my machine. I'm going to come in on the eye, and I'm going straight in. And I'm just going to make sure I got the ball in about halfway. We're pretty close to that. But I don't want to come through the other side, so let me tell you that too. Now, I'll hit it one more time, and like I said, I'm being gentle with this. I want to definitely make sure I have that millimeter in there. And I think I just did something goofy here because I think I had an eye out here. And here it is. I thought I lost it. This is a 4mm brown eye with a black pupil. And maybe I don't describe these to you. I have a lot of different eyes available if you're doing bigger birds and everything else. But because this is a 3/4 inch scale of a cardinal, or it would be a full-size cardinal, it's scaled down. And for like a full-size cardinal, I think you take about a 5mm eye. This is a 4mm because it's scaled down. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just get this eye, and what I'm going to try to do is slide this up, not upside down, but straight. Every time I do it, it wants to go backwards. And most of the time when I'm doing that with a full-size bird, I do want it to go in backwards, but not now. I want to slide that right in there. Now, that looks like a good 4mm. Even though it's backwards, that's fine. That I'm trying to get you to just about get that right in there where it's taking all four, a circle of 4mm. Okay, so I'll take that out. Now, I'm going to use a product called Quickwood. Okay, and this is for replacing wood if you actually get a little rambunctious and you take too much wood out. This is a 2-part epoxy, and you knead it together, and it activates it chemically, and it hardens in about 15 minutes, but I usually give it even a longer time than that. But for what we're doing here now, this ain't that bad. Now, you can see there's 2 different colors in here, but because we're using such a little bit to get this eye, I'm going to cut just a little bit of it off. I don't know if you see this on the camera or not, but I'm getting something where I'm getting both parts, okay? I got enough to do several eyes with that. Now, I want to keep this fresh, so I always get that back in the tube and keep the cap on, okay? Now, I'm going to get this guy here, and I know I got more than I need, but it's hard to get it so small, but I start kneading it together so it becomes one color. And like I said, you can, it'll set up in about 15 minutes, but I usually, whenever I'm using this, I always give it more time. So it really hardens and stuff like that, a lot of times overnight. But for what we're doing with the eye, I'm getting this into a ball shape now, and I've kneaded it pretty good. So we only need maybe that much of it. Okay, I'm going to put the excess over here. I'm going to drop this right into the eye. Now, I don't want to get it all over, so I just push it right in there. Okay, like that. Now I'm going to get the dome side up, which would be the right side for this. Now I'm going to get a pencil with an eraser, and I'm going to come in. I'm going to push that in. You can see the putty starts oozing out all around, okay? And that, I push that in as far as I can get it. Now, I want to get a pencil with a sharp point, okay? and I hope you guys can see this good. I'm going to come in here and just gently come around. I don't want to get all of the putty out, but I want to, let me just make sure I have enough all the way around. I don't want to get this in all over the place because it starts filling up your voids and all your burning and everything else can get lost if you get carried away with the stuff carrying around you. So, I don't know if you can see that well. Yeah, so I think I have a little more I could get rid of right here. And that isn't standing out too far. Okay, you don't want that so bug-eyed neither. So if it doesn't look like it's sitting in that much, take it out, drill it a little bit more to get it just right. But you don't want the putty oozing all over the place on your detail burning. Okay, guess what? The eye's in. That's it. And this here, you can leave this to see if you have it set and you want to find out how hard it gets later. Just look for that little ball, okay? Because that'll, what's the name? Tell you how hard it gets and when it's set. And this will hold that in there perfectly. And like I said, if you're really trying to, you can push in even more. See how that putty, it oozed out. So I got that in a little bit more. Get that point, and I just go around this just a little bit, just to get the excess out. Works out very nice. There it is right there. Don't want to get it into my voids of my detail. And I think we're good to go. It has just a little bit of a membrane around it. And that should do it. Okay? The eye's done. Now, here's what I want to get on the beak. The beak here, if you didn't, this was that pencil line work. I burned this in. And I also burned the beak in. And remember, I said we'd start from the back here, off of the C. This is the C down below here. This is the back of the beak. And I come up and I burn it in. So just to make everybody feel as if I'm doing it in front of you again, I will come in and reburn this. And I'm going to come in, turn my burner on. And this is a P12. You can have P12S or P12 by itself, or you can also use a spear shape point. And these are Optima pens, and I really like them a lot. So if I were to recommend which way to go, I would recommend these, and these fit into a couple different units. Okay, so I have them available if you need them. Now, to aid myself, what I've done before is I get a block of wood so I could get this raised up a little bit more so I don't have my head going down into the camera. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to burn in the beak line, okay? And you're not going straight to the point. It just dips a little bit before the tip, okay? Has like a little bit of an arc. And then for those, if you missed it before on the other videos, I come in and I outline my pencil line here, which is helpful because it acts as a stop. This is a C right in here that comes around. And then this is a straight line shot right here, coming straight across, okay? Now, that wasn't the straightest one, but we'll get there. Okay, so I got the outline of the beak there, and we burned it in. And what happens with the burn, it helps because it gives you a straight, I mean, it gives you sharp edges that if we come in and we, just like with knife carving, where you make a cut and then it gives, it's like a stop so that you could go in, and it helps you to define what's high and what's low, you know, when you're making these cuts. So I want to try to help you out there. So I'm going to get my diamond bullet on this one, and I'm going to plug that in there. But you can use a couple different things. You can use this one. You can, here's the ruby. And I have a smaller ruby flame as well, which is this one. This will work fine. I told you about this one before, and that's the bullet shaped one. And what else do I use? There's a couple different points that could get you there. Now, here's what we're going to do. We got to get a roll on here, and your feathering is up high and the beak is a little lower. So I'm going to turn on my micro grinder, and I'm going to undercut right along here, and I'm not taking much out. And just undercut along that burn line, right on back in here, coming down around the C, coming down on the underneath side here, and here. Now I lost a little bit of the burn in that corner because that happened. So I've lowered everything on the beak ever so slightly. I don't even know if I get my nail in there, it's lifted, but I'll come back in and do it again. Just getting the tip of the bit right up to that burn. Okay. And I'm losing some of the burn at the back end of the beak here. I know that. So what I'm going to do, shut my machine off, come back, get my burner, and you can see I've lost a little bit of the detail, or the burn, back in here. So it's easily remedied. You just get your burner, and you lay that right in there again. Okay. Now we lowered this ever so slightly. I should have taken a little bit more off on the top, away from the burn. Okay. So here we go. I'll get a little more out over here. And I'm rounding the corner here, just slightly. And I'm rounding the corner here. I don't want to get near any of the burn lines, except I just lied. I did some right there, but we'll get that. So I'm rounding the corner a little bit here. Okay. Now, like with the original Cardinal, this is how it works. The beak actually gets a chamfer on both sides, both the bottom and the top. And I'm going to show you how to do that. The chamfer is going to come up, and we're going to roll this so it looks like it's rolling down into this. Okay, it's like the top of the beak is rolling in and the bottom of the beak is rolling in. And that's how it is in reality with the full-size Cardinal. So we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to turn on my machine, and hopefully you can see this, and maybe you can't. I'm going to get my tip in there, and you'll see a little bit of white coming below. Okay, so I've got a 45-degree chamfer just along that line. Now I'm going to try to blend that away and roll it around this edge ever so slightly. Okay. Now, because I want that to look like it's rolling in. Now I'm going to do the same thing to the top. So I'm going to come in here. Putting that 45-degree chamfer. It's not real far and it's real small. In fact, if I were to highlight it, I'd probably have an edge right about like this. It's coming out. Now I need to round that over. So I get it from here. I got that chamfer, and then I roll this around, and I roll this corner about halfway in the thickness here. So it looks like it's rolling around. And that'll get it pretty authentic, the way it would look on the regular Cardinal. And if some of this looks like it's getting lost again because it's so small, we can always come back and burn this in again. Okay. So I'll come right in here. Just like that, and enhance that again. So this should have this look of rolling out so ever so slightly and up and around. And then from the bottom, it comes out. And I can see I lost a little bit. And I will do a little bit of line work in here because I probably had the bit pretty close to my burning. So you're getting that roll out from the bottom, out and around, and you're doing it from the top out and around. You want to get that nice and smooth and just a slight roll. It's not like you're taking a lot. You're not. And as I told you before, you should always sand all this before we even start, even on the surface here too, at least this front end. You don't have to worry about the back as much as you do the front because that's getting all the burn. And it's easier when you have a nice smooth surface. So we have the beak basically out, okay? So that's pretty good. Now, as we've done before on our regular birds, I'm going to do the same process, okay? I'm getting my super glue. It's usually the red topped one, okay? I just take this off, and I'm using this applicator just to put, and you'll see when I put it on, I just get a little bit coming out. Hopefully it'll come out. Guess what? I'm squeezing this thing, and it's as hard as a rock. That's the problem. And I buy these at a dollar store. This is solid already. God, can't believe it wants so solid. So let me put that back in there. This thing's basically shot. Let's see if I have another one floating around in here. Yeah, I probably do. But I use these from a dollar store. The green is a gapping glue, and you don't want that one. Okay, that's for when you're trying to join two pieces together. We're not. We want this to soak into the wood. So what you do, a lot of times they set up fast, and I don't know why. But if you bought like a big container of super glue and it sets up, you're getting two of these for what, like the dollar store's like $1.25. So hopefully I still have some live stuff in here. And I'm going to try to get some out of here and see if it's alive. If it isn't, yeah, I got a feeling that this may have set up too. Now, another thing I do too is I'll come in here sometime and the applicator, I keep on cutting it back because I have to, I'll use one of my X-Acto. Sometimes it gets clogged up. And I don't know if this is shot or not. Let me get a piece of paper around here or something. Let me try this one here. I'm going to see if this comes out on the paper. Yep, this got shot too. So if you'll bear with me, I will get another fresh one and I'll show you how this works. Both of these are shot. And normally they don't go that fast, but it happens sometimes. So I'm going to get a fresh super glue, okay? And now here's a package I got, 3 for whatever, I forget. It was probably the same thing. And I get one of these out. And once they open up, sometimes they just, they'll set up too early for you, or too fast, I should say. So I'll get one of these out, and I'll do this. You want to take this off, okay? This is sealed, okay? So what I do is I get like a pick or something that I have, and I'll just poke through there. This is like some of the picks I have around, just anything, even a little piece of wire. I just poke it through to get a hole in there. Then I'm going to put the whole thing back together. You want to be careful not to squeeze it out while you're doing this. Screw this back on. Okay. Now you come this way, the applicator's out there. Now, let me get my paper again. And I'll show you. I'll squeeze out. See, that can't, you got to watch. You don't want that much out. You got to be really gentle with the glue. So I'm just touching it. You don't want a lot running. So I'm going to just touch that like that. Come all the way over to the end here. And spread it and use the applicator. Don't get a lot out. It comes fast. Okay. And if you really get a lot out, you just aim it that way. You don't want this to go back into your wood, into your burning. So I'm going to let that sit. Your applicator, you get this back on there. And make sure you get the whole thing back together without squeezing stuff out. And that should be good for a while, that super glue. But here's what the principle of it is. It's very liquidy. It sucks into the pores, and when it dries, you sand it, and it gives you that bony look that you get from the beak, okay? And that's what'll happen. So I have it all the way to the back end of this, on both from the top and from the bottom of it. And I'm going to let that dry, okay? And now, I'm going to talk to you about this. Now, you know that I've talked about sealers. I'm going to spray this with a Krylon spray. I have my old spray is Krylon. It's 1301 is the old number. Krylon 1301, which was the next generation up. Then Krylon changed it again, so I don't know what the latest one is. But you can use, and let's see if I can find my notes here on, and I've given this out many a time, but I think I have something floating around here that has all that. There's a KT sealer, and let's see. I've got too much information floating around. There's a KT sealer. There's oh, I can't think of the other one. The other one that I always tell you not to use, you could use on this because you want to water it down, and that's your, I forget what it's called. Hang on one second. Yes. Gesso. It's white gesso. And I tell you not to use that, but in this case here you could. You just want to water it down. I mean, water it down. You use maybe a drop in about maybe a little bit more than, you know, those little trays I use, like these guys here that I have, okay? You put like a drop of that in there with about 3/4 of water, and you're going to have to coat this a couple of times, okay? And you want to paint the whole thing, hold the tail, okay? But the first thing you want to do is spray it, or you can use the gesso or the KT sealer, or what? I apologize. I should have all this information readily available for you. But I've told this a million times about what we use as sealers, and let's see if I have it still. Here it is. You can use depth, KT sealer, 5-1301 Krylon spray, 1301 Krylon spray, and gesso, okay? Paint the whole thing white. It's a white part, okay? That's after you seal it, okay? But you can use any one of those sealers I was telling you. Now, for me, I'm going to use the Krylon spray and get that, and I will spray it on both sides. When I get done, I am going to paint the whole thing with titanium white, okay? That's me. Now, the gesso is white, so you do that. Once you get it white, you're good, okay? I'm going to use this. I use about maybe a BB size to about half a cup of water, and mix that really good, and then paint this maybe a couple times. And I try to have this, the breast area feathers and the mantle look like it's ghosting through. So you don't want to white it out so much that you can't see any of this detail that shows up, okay? But on this side, definitely get it all white, okay? And let's see if I have mine. Yeah. So that's what you got to do, but make sure this is dry. You got to let that dry, and you got to sand that first, just to take the glaze off, okay? And then when you get back, or I say when I get back to you guys on the next video, we will we'll start painting, okay? And then we're going to try to achieve this guy, okay? I'll show you how to, and this will come pretty fast too. I'll show you how to get the everything painted in one shot, okay? So we should be able to wrap this up, I would think, by the next video after this one. So that would be the ideal thing. So I hope you got something out of this one as well. And like I said, to know how hard that filler around the eye is, just this will tell you, it'll get like rock hard after a while, and you'll be fine. That eye is not going to come out. That'll hold that right in there. And like I said, use the back end of an eraser to push in. It cushions it at the same time it oozes out. Then you get your real fine point and clean it up around there, and it gives you that membrane nicely, and you're all set. So hope you got something out of this one. If you did, I'd ask you to give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel. And if you have any friends that are interested and want to try things, you know, I have all different different birds and animals and things like that available on my catalog and on my videos, but I'm working my way up there. And you have a lot of choices. And if you want to try this project, I have kits on everything I almost do. And even the ones I haven't done, I have kits available on birds or whatever you may need. Check out my catalog. I will send that out to you. And check into my description of this video, and you will see my email address if you didn't get it in the front part of this video. So hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you on the next video. And I thank you very much, and I hope you enjoyed it.